sure if this is still considered West Texas. Really need to look at a bigger map and try and figure that out. I'm somewhere between Van Horn and Marfa on US 90, and we're going to stop up here in just a minute and take a look at something that I'd heard about quite some time ago. I never thought I'd be in the vicinity to be able to take a look at, so we're going to check that out. And then we got a couple of historical things I'm planning to do today. And when I say we, I mean I. But it's a beautiful day.
In 1 3/4 miles, take the ramp ahead. Turn right at the traffic light.
What I think is going to be a pretty cool RV park tonight. $22, full hookups. We'll be checking that out. So we're just about a half a mile out, and I think I see some other people stopped there. And I swear I see some people standing in the middle of the road. Oh, no, they're on the shoulder. Quite a few people here.
Your destination is on the
right. Can you see it? Prada Marfa. Let's check it out. This was an Italian television commercial for some fashion thing being shot while I was visiting there. So these are all fashion models standing in front of Prada Marfa. They were running drones. It was a big production. It was actually pretty fun to be there at that same time. And what's really quirky about this is that this is an art installation really in the middle of nowhere in Texas. But if you're anywhere in the Marfa, Van Horn area, definitely worth the detour to go see it. Hope you enjoy it. Well, I've been on this road for about 7 miles. This is Texas Farm to Market 505, and I have not seen a single soul ahead of me or behind me this entire time. This is the lowest speed limit I've seen in Texas too, at 55 miles an hour, which frankly, in an RV with no shoulder, feels a little fast, but I'm just paying attention to it. In about 1.5 miles, we're going to turn right on State Route 166. We're heading for Fort Davis National Historic Site, I think it is. And not too terribly far away from there yet. About a half an hour before we get there. But it's definitely pretty countryside. Like the hills, like seeing the ranch land. I want to just drive down the middle of the road because I can. There aren't all that many curves here. And as I said, I absolutely have not seen another soul. Not only is there no shoulder, there's actually a little bit of a drop-off right at the edge of the pavement, so really don't want to drop a wheel into that.
In 3/4 mile, keep right to Texas 166.
Oh, looky, there's somebody else. I'm going to slow down. That's the only other vehicle that I've seen on this road at all. And it's another RV. Actually looks like a big fifth wheel. Yep. Yeah, and looking behind me, he's doing the same thing. He's kind of taking his half out of the middle of the road. Well, it looks like we'll get to go through a little bit of hills. Well, we just passed a sign that said loose livestock. I assume that means free range. Otherwise, they wouldn't put up a sign. They just got loose temporarily. Sure is pretty countryside here. I think this definitely qualifies as the hill country. This would be a great motorcycle road, too. Not a super great RV road, though. It's okay. I'm just taking my time. Let's see what's around this bend. Civilization, or people living here that I've seen. Crow's Nest, RV park and camping, Old Spanish Trail, gallery and museum. Alright, we're going to check out this historical marker on the road up here. Is this it right here? No, that's somebody's driveway. Hard to tell. Mostly I've been seeing signs when they have historical markers, so we'll see if that's true. See all the rock up on top of that mountain up ahead? Really pretty. Here's our historical marker. I stopped here to check out the historical marker for Bloy's, B-L-O-Y, apostrophe S, campground meeting. Apparently this was established in 1890s as a, camp meeting. Starting off with tents and wagons and that kind of thing, and it's grown into this. Sign said the first meeting had about 45 people, and even today they're attracting about 1,500 people every August. We're at an elevation of about 6,000 feet right now. Pretty nice, a little bit breezy. Check out the beautiful rocks up on top of the hills over there. So we're coming into the village of Fort Davis, heading for the Fort Davis National Historic Site. Alright, that's a cool looking stone building right ahead of us. Very cool. Oh, and on the left looks like a courthouse maybe. Yeah, this is cute little downtown. Wow. I like it. Hotel Olympia. Super cute. Looks like they got a couple different restaurants and so forth. Oh, overnight cottages. Butterfield overnight cottages reminds me of something that I'd have seen on the eastern shore in Maryland when I was, visiting down there when I was a kid. Interesting. Wine tasting every weekend. Yeah, I like these little stone buildings. Really cool. Davis National Historic Site.
In 1/2 mile, arrive at Fort Davis National Historic Site on the right.
Cool. If I recall correctly, what I read was that this is one of the best preserved sites used during the
In 1/4 mile, arrive at Fort Davis National Historic Site on the right.
definitely some foundations and stuff. We'll see how much walking around I get to do.
Arriving at Fort Davis National Historic Site on the right. In 1/2 mile, turn left on Texas 118.
Oh, goody. RV parking that's not the furthest away from everything. Well, that says bus parking, but I'm going to consider myself a bus. All right, here we are at Fort Davis, getting ready to enter a restored enlisted men's barracks. Pretty cool place. Sorry about the wind. See if I can get out of it for a little bit. So across the way over there are the officers' quarters. And I want to try and walk over there if my knee's going to let me do it. Really cool rock outcropping on top of that hill. Let's see what we got. Two or four mule Army escort wagon. Of course, not only did they have to carry their own stuff, they had to carry everything to take care of the horse as well. So, on June 14th, 1775, Congress authorized 10 companies of riflemen to be raised in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Virginia as part of the new Continental Army. The infantry became the mainstay of the new army and guarded the frontier long before permanent mounted units were organized. These foot soldiers remained vital even after the introduction of the mounted troopers to frontier operations. So this fort was originally established to protect settlers that were traveling between San Antonio and California. And right around the time of the Civil War. You know, looking at the tent, such as it is, not really much of a tent, more like a tarp with a ground cloth. Oh, actually, yeah, that's exactly what it is. To sleep till. That seems like it would be fairly uncomfortable. They weighed, the stuff they had to carry weighed about 40 pounds, which was 25% of the average soldier's weight. That's pretty interesting. Cannon there. A 12-pound mountain howitzer, model 1841. Second model prairie carriage. Oh, and here's some bigger munitions. Oh, this one's a Gatling gun, model 1866, modified to .45 caliber with model 1874 field carriage. Officially introduced to the United States arsenal in 1866, Gatling guns were placed by the Army at almost every major military post. The mechanism was reliable, but the government-made ammunition was at times faulty, causing the weapon to jam. In addition, the isolated posts did not always have sufficient ammunition on hand for practice, as the Gatling was easily capable of firing 350 rounds per minute. One junior officer stationed in Kansas in 1867 explained, "I wanted to have target practice, but was told I would have to pay for the ammunition. The commanding officer refused to authorize target practice for fear he would have to pay for the ammunition. The officer and his men never did fire the guns." Fort Davis got its first Gatling in 1870. That'd make an excellent table. I guess it's a tree that formerly stood on the site. And as I mentioned, this is a National Historic Site. A lot of these buildings have been restored. This is a 3-inch rifled field gun, model 1861. Represents the apex of development in muzzle loading artillery. Bore of the gun is fitted with gently twisting grooves called rifling. When fired, rifling gives the projectile a spin, much like the spiral of a football in flight, allowing greater range and accuracy. Made of wrought iron. Maximum range of 1,800 yards, weight of 1,730 pounds. Was the lightest, strongest, and most accurate muzzle-loading artillery piece used by the U.S. Army. Huh. And then these are the actual barracks restored. So, in the squad room, during the summer of 1884, 26 men of Troop H 10th Cavalry slept, dressed, relaxed, and worked. The remainder of the company, 36 men, lived in the larger squad room behind me, the one we just came through. The mess hall and kitchen were attached to the east side of the barracks to your right. To my right. There was little privacy in barracks life. A soldier's bunk, footlocker, and bunk space were his only private territory. Soldiers were to have only issue items, but veteran soldiers often supplemented the Army issue, as witnessed here by the civilian quilts on some of the bunks. I'm not seeing that, but there you go. Indian trophies on the wall above the fireplace, reminders of those taken by the company in combat against the Cheyenne on the southern plains. The principal relaxation for soldiers in the barracks was visiting among themselves. Most military duties were suspended on Sundays. Soldiers read newspapers and books from the post library, strolled about, played cards or checkers, sang and danced, and played jokes on comrades in the quarters. Well, it looks like they've got 2 stoves for heat. And I guess the fireplace back there is more decorative than anything else. Interesting piping on the stoves. Yeah, not a whole lot of personal space here. Cool. So, this is where the mess hall and kitchen was, out in the back. Beautiful setting here, really pretty. Alright, we're going to be in the wind for a little bit, so I'll be back. Really cool looking installation here. We're going to head to the commissary. This is one of the shared officers' quarters that has not been restored yet. But what a lovely setting up against the hillside full of rocks. Really pretty. This is the officers' quarters kitchen. And kitchens were kept separate from main quarters in order to keep food odors and heat from the wood-burning stove out of the home. Additionally, if the kitchen caught on fire, the house might be saved. Many of the items here are found also in today's kitchens. The icebox kept perishable foods cool. By the late 1880s, a local iceman sold ice to families living in the area. And then we had servants' quarters. It's furnished for a woman, but there were also many men servants along Officers' Row. Enlisted men working as strikers could earn $5 to $10 a month in addition to their army pay of $13 a month. Single women were difficult to keep as enlisted men viewed them as potential brides. Many officers' wives kept busy recruiting and training new servants. Interesting. Complete with flapping laundry line out back. This one looks super cool. It's like undergoing restoration, but I love the fitted stone blocks. Really cool. Oh, and then I think the one next to it, maybe we can go in. So let's take a look. I'll speed up this part because I'm still not walking very fast. So this is the commanding officer's quarters. Construction of the house began in 1867 under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Wesley Merritt, who was the first to move in and call it home. Today it is furnished to the time when Colonel Benjamin H. Grierson, commander of the Black 10th U.S. Cavalry, and his family lived here in 1882 to 1885. Love the porch. That's super cool. And it wraps around on the right-hand side. So this would be the front parlor. A bedroom. Too bad you can't actually go in. So this is actually the master. That's a photo of Alice Grierson and their two older sons, Charlie and Robert. Okay, and here's a different view of the master. Cool. Sewing room. And this is another bedroom, looks like for several kids, with a game table and a fireplace. Because of course, in this era, I think every bedroom had a fireplace. Otherwise you would pretty much freeze. Here's the dining room. Yeah, I can't get a good angle that way. But here's kind of a close-up of this fitted stone. I like it. I think this is the kitchen, but I'm not positive. Let's see in this window. Oh, maybe more like a game room. Yeah, this would be the back parlor with the piano and game table with mahjong, a desk to work at, library. Very cool. Super cool. Well, this was quite a busy day for exploring, as you can kind of see from my map here. I started off over in Van Horn at the lovely Oasis RV Park in the morning, and then my first stop was at Prada Marfa. Um, and then I continued on to Fort Davis and spent quite a bit of time there actually. And then came back up around to Fort Stockton, which is where we're heading next, and finally ended the day in Stadium Park in Sonora, Texas. I think that was, yeah. So here we go, driving through Fort Stockton. As you can see, there's not really a whole lot to see here. Cute little town-ish. But we are going to pull up here and take a look at another little quirky thing. Apparently there is a thing for giant metal Roadrunners. Let's take a look at this one. Yep, pretty big. I think this one was 30 feet from tip to tip. And then I got back on the road and wound up in Sonora, Texas a couple hours later, where I parked up at the Stadium Park RV Park, which was largely converted from having been a full-time mobile home park. So it was really nice. They had covered ramadas you could be underneath of, full hookups. They provided sewer hoses and hooked them up. That was kind of awesome. And then I grilled up some chicken and relaxed for the rest of the evening. We'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.